Welcome to part 2 of our ML Turn operating session. When we left part 1 of our video, the ML Turn had just been given clearance to depart Summit Springs. We head down the east side of the mountains, passing over Latah Pass. Passing by the small station at Upper Meadows, and then across Sarlot Viaduct. We have a green block signal, so we continue at speed. We pass by the junction to the mine, but since this is a facing point turnout and there's no runaround track available here, we'll continue to Bucky's Crossing and switch the mine upon our return trip. We head downgrade, paralleling Willow Creek and enjoying some new rock cliff scenery on the right side of our train. We stop our train at Willow Creek Junction and contact the Yardmaster at Bucky's Crossing for permission to proceed. As usual during operating sessions, Bucky's Crossing is quite busy, and the Yardmaster tells us we'll have to wait for a couple of other trains to clear the crossing before we can proceed. The first train up is the passenger train that we saw noted on the guide in Waverly. Train number 9 is coming from Spokane Staging and will make a short stop in Bucky's Crossing before continuing to Waverly. Next up is our friend, train number 22. The dispatcher has cleared number 22 to continue its run to Spokane Staging. Once number 22 has cleared the crossing at Glacier Valley, we should be in line to proceed to Bucky's Crossing. After notification by the Yardmaster, we proceed through the crossing. Since we're coming from Waverly, our route takes us to the right at Glacier Valley, arriving eventually in Bucky's Crossing from the west. In preparation for our arrival, the Yardmaster is getting ready to help turn our train. He positions his switcher at the far end of the ferry access track next to the passenger train, so that he can grab our caboose upon our arrival. He'll eventually move the caboose to the opposite end of our train. We pass the Naugatuck Lighthouse and arrive on the outer station track as directed by the Yardmaster. The Yardmaster knows that the passenger train will be departing shortly, but he figures he's got enough time to grab our caboose and move it to the ferry access track so he can position it on the opposite end of our train after the passenger train leaves. Being efficient when working Bucky's crossing is a key success factor for the Yardmaster. The passenger train departs on schedule, heading for Waverly. This frees up the interstation track so we can turn our train. We start by running our locomotive around our train, positioning it on the opposite end of ML turn. With our locomotive out of the way, the Yardmaster moves his switcher to retrieve our caboose and couple it onto the end of our train. Once our train has been turned, the Yardmaster moves his switcher back to the yard to begin his next job, and we wait clearance to depart. Once we get clearance, we head out of Bucky's crossing. We've turned our train and we're now headed west, back towards Waverly. This time we'll make a short stop in Highland to switch the mine. Note that because of how the Waverly Yardmaster blocked our train, the final car to be set out at the mine is now the first car of our train. Very convenient. We pass by the mining town of Highland. And then stop our train on the main line just clear of the junction to the mining company. This is the only location on the layout where the main is blocked during a switching operation. Fortunately, the Highland loop block signal will protect the main line while we complete our work. We uncoupled the gondola from the rest of our train and back down to the mining company's supply dock. We pick up the outbound gondola and put it back on our train. Then return to the supply dock to drop off the inbound gondola. You never know what's going to happen on the layout during operating sessions or during the filming of videos. Case in point, locomotive number 718 decided to die right here at the junction to the mine. We have lights and sounds, but no movement. Rather than try to resolve the problem right now, we've decided to dispatch a rescue locomotive to finish the ML Turns run. While we wait for the new locomotive to arrive, we complete our paperwork at the mining company's car card box. At last, the rescue locomotive arrives. EMD SD7 number 776 is here to save the day. The SD7 couples on to our stranded train, and the ML Turn is once again headed towards Waverly Yard. ML Turn once again crosses Lookout Pass and heads down the mountains to Waverly. The Waverly Yardmaster has directed ML Turn onto arrival track number 2. We've been on the road for quite some time, and it's nice to finally be back home. To complete our work, we file the car cards for ML Turn in the Arrival to car card box. So that completes our run of the ML Turn. I hope that you enjoyed today's operating session. And as always, thank you for visiting the Willow Creek.